Hey guys, before I start my video, I first want to say that I miss you and I hope all of you are doing well and hopefully you're staying inside and you're staying safe. And also before I start, I wanted to let you know that if you ever need anything as far as math related or Northwest related, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I am always available via email. Okay, so we left off talking about our exponent rules. We covered the majority of the rules. So we got in the product rule, which was when you were multiplying the bases, you added the exponents. We got in the quotient rule, which was when you were dividing like bases, you subtracted the exponents. We talked about the zero rule. Okay, the zero rule was anything raised to a 0 equals 1. And most of the time, if it's mixed together, you're just going to go ahead and slash it out. And then the last rule that we got in was the negative rule, and it's simple, easy, quick fix. Anytime you have a negative exponent, you just switch from numerator to denominator and it becomes positive, or vice versa. If the negative starts in the denominator, you move the base in that exponent to the numerator and then it turns positive. Okay, so the last one that we have to do is it's considered the power rule. Okay, so if you want to fill this out on the graphic organizer that we were working on during class, you may. If you just want to take notes over it or watch, that's fine too. Okay, so the power rule is when you have an exponent raised to another exponent. So I know that these were kind of mixed in our examples that we did before we got stuck at home. And so some of you already know what the rule is and some of you are not, okay, but I need to make sure that we go over it, okay? So the power rule is x squared, okay? So we have an exponent, a power, and now we're going to take that power and we're going to raise it to the third, okay? So notice that this is in parentheses, so that entire x squared is your whole base, okay? So that is telling you that you have x squared to the third. So you have x squared 3 times being multiplied by each other. Okay, and so this is where you can kind of go separately. So you have 2, 2, 2. So you're either going to do two things. You're going to take 2 plus 2 plus 2 to realize that this is x to the 6th, okay? Or you can take the shortcut and you can take your 2 piles and you can multiply it by 3, okay? So 2 times 3 is x to the 6th, okay? So that right there is the shortcut, okay? So, if you have a power raised to a power, then you multiply the exponents. Okay, so if you have a power raised to a power, then you multiply the exponents. So that can be involved in a product, that can be involved in a quotient, okay, or you can have both of them. So this would be the product. So if I have x squared y to the 4th, let's do that to the 3rd, but now I have times x to the 6th, y to the 2nd. And I have all of that squared. Okay, so you have 2 options that you could do. Some of you will put these together first, and then some of you will do that. Okay, I recommend multiplying your exponents together and then go ahead and adding them up. So I have x to the 6th, because 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, I have x squared, x squared, x squared, 2, 4, 6. Okay, and then I have y to the 4th 3 times. So I have 4, 4, 4. So 4, 8, 12, or 4 times 3, y to the 12th. Okay, now I am multiplying it by x to the 6th twice. So 6 and 6 is 12. So I have x to the 12th and y to the 4th, because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, So now here, we're stuck with the product, okay? So I have x to the 6th times x to the 12th. So we're multiplying like bases, so that means we're going to add those together. So I have 12 and 6, so this is x to the 18th. And then I have y to the 12th times y to the 4th. So that's like I have 12 here, and I have 4 more. So I have y to the 16th, okay? So see how we have the product and the power mixed together? Let's do one with quotient, okay? So for quotient, if I have x to the 3rd divided by y to the 6th, and I have all of that 3 times, okay? So both of those exponents are being raised to an exponent. So I have x to the 3rd 3 times, so 3, 6, 9, or multiply 3 times 3, x to the 9th. And then I have to do the same thing on the bottom. I would have y to the 6th 3 times. So I have 6, 12, 18. Or I could just take 6 times 3. So y to the 18th. And then you are finished. Now, just like when we were working in class, guys, we're going to have these where you have all those rules mixed together, okay? And then that's where you guys are going to kind of go separately, and you're going to do them in your own order. Again, it does not matter which order you follow as long as you understand the way that you're doing it, okay? So we got product, okay? We have quotient. We got 0. We have negatives. And now we have the power. Okay, so let's try one where it's all mixed together. Okay, so now let's do some where all of the rules are mixed together, and let's see which route you would take. So you might have, let's go x to the 3rd, y to the negative 4th, over, let's go x squared, y, and z to the 0. All of that raised to the 4th. Okay, so you have 2 routes. Some of you will do the inside first and make it pretty, and then just distribute the 4 twice. One's on top and one's on the bottom. And then other of you will start here, and you'll just distribute the 4 the entire way. So let's do this 2 different ways, okay? Let's simplify the inside first, and then on the other route, let's do the power first, okay? So power will be last here versus power would be first over here. So over here, I have x to the 3rd, y to the negative 4th, over x squared, y, z to the 0, all of that to the 4th. Okay, so you have to look at the inside, and you have to knock out the product, quotient, 0, and negative rule inside. So let's see. I have a negative, so that needs to flip down to make it positive. So this y to the negative 4 would go underneath to make it y to the positive 4. I have z to the 0, so I can cross that out. I don't need it. So now I have some x's on top, some on the bottom. So I'm going to bring in that quotient rule. So 3 minus 2. So I'm going to have x to the 1st on top. Okay, and then I have y to the 4th and a y. So let's add in that 1 if you need it. So now we're using the product rule. So y to the 4th and y to the 1st is y to the 5th. So now my inside is nice and neat. I have 2 terms, that's it. And so now I have raised to the 4th. So this is x to the 4th. And then I take it to the bottom as well. 5 times 4 over y to the 20th. Okay, so this would be my final answer. All x's are on the top 1 spot. All y's are in the bottom 1 spot. So now let's go the other way. So some of you will get rid of this power first and then simplify. Again, it is completely up to you. I don't care how you do it. So, okay, don't forget to add in that 1. So I have 3 times 4, which is 12. I have negative 4 times 4, which is negative 16. I have 2 times 4, which is 8. I have y to the first, so 1 times 4, which is 4. And if it's to the 0, I'm just going to cross it off because what's 0 times 4? It's 0. Okay? So then now, let's see. I have the negative. I got to bump it down. So y to the 16th is going to go to the bottom. So we're going to get rid of that at the top. And let's see. I have 12 and 8. So I have 4 more at the top. And I have 16 and 4 y's at the bottom, which is y to the 20th. Okay? We get the same answer. So again, I don't care which way you guys solve these. It is completely up to you. Okay? So let's try one more, and then I think you guys will be good to go. The power rule is really not that complicated, guys, so try not to overthink this. Yes, I know that you're at home. You don't really have me to ask questions back and forth, but I believe that you can do it, okay? So let's do x squared y to the negative 5 to the third, and times, let's go, 4x raised to the 6th. Okay, so this is the first one where we added in that coefficient, which is huge. So I really need to make sure that you guys pay attention to this example. So I have the 3. So power to a power, so let's knock that out. So 2 times 3 is 6, so x to the 6th. And then I have negative 5 times 3, which is y to the negative 15th. Okay, now we're timesing. So now I have 4x to the 6th. So that means I have 4x, 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 4x. So not only did I have that x 6 times, I had the 4 6 times. So guys, please, please, please put that 1 in right there. Okay, so that way you distribute the 6 to both of them. So this is times 4 to the 6th, x to the 6th. Okay, so now 4 to the 6th, if you want to do 4 to the 6th out, you can. I don't have a calculator handy next to me, so I'm not going to. But again, it's up to you, so that's just going to stay. Okay, so I have product, so I'm going to add. So I have x to the 6th times x to the 6th, which is x to the 12th. But now I have y to the negative 15th. So in order to make this negative a positive, I have to flip it down. So right now you really only have the top. So if this would flip down, that means this would go underneath the x to the 12th. And then you just leave your 4 to the 6th up front. Okay? So let's try one more with another coefficient. Okay? And let's not overcomplicate this one. So let's just go 2 cubed x to the 4th, y to the negative 5th, and then let's go to the 2nd. Okay, so power rule, check that out. So this is 2 to the 3 times 2, which is 6, 4 times 2, which is 8, and then y to the negative 10th. And then I'm not done yet because you have to have all positive exponents, so you need to take this guy and move it down. So then your final answer would just look like that. Okay, so that's really all I have for you. Okay, I'm hoping that this video really helped you learn. And we're going to continue to work on exponents for the remainder of this week. So your first activity will just be solely on the power rule. So you'll do a power rule domino. And then after that, we'll start to mix all of them together. Okay? Stay safe, guys.